My name is Yasmin Blair, and during these next few minutes, I would like to help you get to know the EQV even better. There are so many things I'd like to show you in this film, but first of all, why don't we take a short sneak peek? With up to 8 seats, the EQV is suited for both private and business use, while combining the functionality of the V-Class with the benefits of zero local emissions and an extra portion of electric intelligence. The EQV is therefore part of an electric mobility ecosystem of intelligent navigation incorporating range management, cloud-based services, and apps. The EQV offers all of that well-known functionality from the V-Class in combination with locally emission-free drivetrain and electric intelligence, and that is an active support for the driver to drive more comfortably and efficiently. Identically to the V-Class, the EQV also seats up to 8 persons. That's 1 for the driver and 7 additional passenger seats. Now, the model we have right here has 6 individual seats, but you can also choose from further seating configurations. For example, you could choose 2 3-seater benches, or you could also have the seats face each other conference style. The battery is located underfloor, directly between the front and the rear axle. And that does not only give you full passenger and luggage space, but at the same time, it's beneficial for the vehicle's center of gravity. And by the way, the usable battery capacity lies at 90 kilowatt hours. MBUX comes with a 10.25-inch display as standard. That is basically your central access point to all EQ-specific settings and screens. So what can we do in the EQ menu? You can, for example, operate pre-entry climate control, and that is going to give you an extra portion of comfort because that will allow you to precondition the vehicle before you get in it without losing any energy, as long as the function is activated while the battery is recharging. All you need to do is enter your desired time of departure, and you can do so in MBUX or in the Mercedes Me app remotely. You can also use MBUX to activate the navigation with electric intelligence. Now, that enables convenient and EQ-optimized route planning that takes into consideration traffic, even weather data, topography, and, of course, the charging stations. The system selects the most intelligent route with optimized charging stops and the shortest possible charging times. And by the way, the route can also be remotely planned via the Mercedes Me app, and the destination can then be transmitted to MBUX. The route and planned charging stops are continuously updated based on, for example, your driving style and consumption. MBUX provides detailed information about the necessary charge your EQV needs and all information about the charging points. And the best part is, when you stop to recharge, the vehicle and the battery in particular is already prepared and preconditioned for the charging process. As you probably know, real range can differ from the certified range because it's dependent on so many different factors. For example, on your own individual configuration, on the road and traffic conditions, on the outside temperature even, or on air conditioning, for example. But the good thing here is that you as a driver, you have the greatest influence with your very own style of driving on the range, so it lies in your hand. Plus, we do have, as a sort of support system, electric intelligence. Now, that assists you actively as a driver to drive in a more efficient manner. One thing I really appreciate is range on map, because that comes in very handy. Range on map will always let you know how much further you can go with your EQV before having to recharge. So of course that allows very reliable and very simple tour planning, even if you do not have a specific destination entered in your navigation system. And here in our instrument cluster, we can always see the remaining range, and that is calculated realistically and in real time using real consumption data, so you can really depend on that. Plus, when your battery's running low, you will be warned and requested to recharge. And to increase the range safety, as I like to call it, in the navigation settings, you can enter a remaining state of charge with which you want to enter your destination or the next charging station. Now, why don't we talk about what efficient driving means exactly? Let's start off with recuperation. Now, recuperation means regaining electric energy while driving, and that, of course, contributes to an even higher range. And we do so by using the electric engine as a generator more so than losing energy by braking manually. Now, you can use these paddles behind your steering wheel to adjust the level manually, or, which is even more convenient, you can just simply let the EQV do the adjustment. D-Auto makes very clear what electric intelligence and active driver assistance is really all about. The EQV adapts its strength of recuperation dynamically and predictably according to the data provided by camera, for example, or by the navigation system, or also by the safety assistance. That means in inner-city driving, like here, for example, the EQV will adapt its strength of recuperation and therefore also adjust its speed to the vehicle driving in front of us. So all you have to do as a driver is remove your foot from the accelerator pedal. In regard to what I like to call active driver assistance, there are also 4 driving modes with which you can choose between maximum comfort or maximum range. The driving modes can be adjusted via the dynamic switch in the center console. In driving mode C, the focus is on a very comfortable and dynamic setup. In driving mode E, the focus is on the balance between comfort and efficiency. E+, or maximum range, is the driving mode designed to maximize range. And finally, S. That stands for a sporty driving performance for even more driving fun on special occasions. And by the way, since it does also consume electric energy from the battery, heating and cooling the interior of your vehicle also has a great impact on your range. But here we do also have something cool, the intelligent heat pump system that makes heating and cooling even more efficient. Also, by preferably choosing seat heating, and also by choosing the level of your fan and temperature wisely, meaning a higher temperature and lower fan level, you can also contribute to achieving a larger range. Now let me tell you about one of my favorite optional features, Airmatic air suspension. Now, Airmatic air suspension offers you an even more comfortable ride and a more efficient ride on top of it. This is how it works. For example, if you're driving in driving mode C or E and you reach a higher speed, then your vehicle is automatically lowered by 10 millimeters, and that gives you less air resistance and thus better efficiency. That happens automatically from the very beginning when driving in mode maximum range. Now, let me just take it from the top and give you some basic information, okay? First of all, the EQV does come with an AC charging cable as standard, and you can use that cable to charge at public AC charging stations, of course. But if you do have space at home, as we do here, I would strongly recommend get one of these, an AC wall box, because this is definitely the best, the most convenient and the safest way to recharge your EQV right at home. We have a charging power of up to 11 kilowatts, so that means that in about under 10 hours time, you can fully recharge your EQV, which means it's perfect for overnight charging, and in the mornings you'll always be ready and set to go. On the other hand, you do, of course, always have the possibility of recharging at public AC and DC charging stations as well. At DC fast charging stations, you can recharge your EQV from, for example, 10% back up to 80% with up to 110 kilowatts in about 45 minutes' time. The charging socket is located right over here on the front left side of the vehicle. And as you can see, we have a combined charging socket, and that enables AC and DC charging alike. It is located very conveniently, especially when it comes to DC charging, because what we normally see at charging stations are very thick and very short charging cables. Plus, the stations themselves are located at the front of the parking lot. So when you head directly towards the charging stations, you have very easy access. Mercedes Me Charge grants you access to public charging stations, including Ionity fast charging stations, and those are located all across Europe. MBUX lists all relevant information on the charging station, including availability, charging power, and costs. And you can activate the charging station using MBUX or the Mercedes Me app or your Mercedes Me Charge card. And payment can also be handled very easily through these exact same three possibilities, while billing takes place in the background automatically using your Mercedes Me Charge account, which is very convenient. Just another small hint. If you don't intend on doing a whole lot of driving and you don't necessarily need the full range on a daily basis, then try not to recharge all the way up to the full 100%. Instead, try setting the state of charge limit to, let's say, around 80%. That will give your battery even more protection in the long run. Now, the battery certificate is quite important to you as a driver because that protects you from financial liability during the first 8 years or for the first 160,000 driven kilometers should the remaining capacity of your battery drop underneath the limit of 180 amp hours. And if you're still not sure whether the EQV is the right car for you, why not take a virtual test drive with the EQ Ready app? That should help you decide. And for now, thank you for joining me in discovering the EQV, and most of all, have fun discovering it for yourselves.